All right, good evening, everybody. So, just checking in. Me and a friend of mine were talking recently about the possibility and the benefits or lack thereof of reading multiple books at once. So, I think, oftentimes it depends on the person. Like, if you have trouble focusing and you're a bit scatterbrained, maybe it would be a bit more beneficial to try and focus on one book at a time. I've had the issue of reading a book, stopping, and starting another one, and it's a bad habit that I'm really trying to break out of. But one thing I do is I do read multiple books at the same time, each one of which services a certain area of my life in which I'm trying to develop. I don't recommend that to everyone, but for some people it works. But if you want to try it, here's what I recommend. I recommend that no more than three at a time. And so let's say you finish one, another one can alternate in its place, once you finish that one. Like, for example, I've recently, over the past year or so, gotten into the digital writing space, the digital writing landscape. Pursuing a career in screenwriting, I had shied away from social media. A lot of us writers were a bit more introverted and whatnot. So, I just stayed away from social media for the most part. I didn't see the value in it until like the last few years, post COVID and whatnot. Started following this guy named Dan Coe. He's a writer. He's a lot more than a writer, but just for conversation's sake, that's the best way I know how to describe him. And he got me after I took his 2 hour writer course. I watched his YouTube videos. He's fucking dope as fuck. Check him out if you want to be a digital writer, or just get into writing at all. He talks about all kinds of things from spirituality to philosophy to business to marketing to everything. You just got to check him out. He's difficult to describe just off the top of my head, but he just wrote a book called The Art of Focus. Just came out. It's an amazing book. I just finished it today, like about an hour ago, as a matter of fact. And I was reading this, just because I got into the whole digital writing landscape. And I'd been wanting to read that book for a long time anyway. Like, I even stopped another book, which I shouldn't have done, to read this one. I made this one a priority, and it's an amazing book. I highly recommend checking it out. It's about basically just this whole new era that we live in, and the power of leveraging the digital landscape and the ability to monetize your personal development to solve problems in your life. I'm going to just summarize it very quickly in like a couple sentences. The main benefits you can get from this book are learning how to solve problems in your own life, learn the benefit of solving problems in your own life, distilling the methods, creating a system to solve those problems, and selling the solution online. Now, there's a lot more detail, there's a lot more nuance to that, so read the book. I highly recommend it. So, each of the three books I read, one serves a different arena in my lifestyle. Like, that one is for my pursuits of or my digital writing endeavors, my journey into that, so to speak. So that was for digital writing, I guess you could say, and other things, but mostly digital writing. So for screenwriting, I really needed to. I watched a podcast with screenwriting coach, not instructor. He's not an instructor. John Truby is a screenwriting goat. Let me put it that way. He is the motherfucking man. He's the founder and director of Truby Writers Studio. He's like a script doctor. That's what he is. I don't think it's cool just to call him an instructor. I don't think it's fair to just call him an instructor. He's a lot more than that. John Truby, if you're into screenwriting, his videos are absolutely amazing, like his interviews on Indie Film Hustle and various other platforms on YouTube. Excuse me for licking my lips so much, they're dry. But anyway, look. So this book right here, if you want to be a screenwriter, The Anatomy of Genre, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And what influenced me to purchase this book right here? So he was doing an interview, and this guy knows what's up. Like, anyone who's in the screenwriting game, who's in the film industry, they know John Truby knows what's up, right? So this fool, he was saying what separates 99% of screenwriters from the 1% that succeed, the 99% who fail from the one that succeed, is their ability to plot within genre and then their ability to transcend that genre by blending it with another genre. Once I heard that, it made sense, and he started breaking down examples of all the recent films and TV shows um, within the past like 30 years. Because there was a period of time where you could just focus on one genre for a film, but then once it became formulaic, I suppose you could say people had to start mixing genres and transcending their genre. But he breaks down every single genre that you could imagine. I jumped straight to the gangster genre because with my screenwriting portfolio, that's the genre that I'm mainly focused on right now. I'll have to break out into other ones soon, learning them, but I'm really inhaling the gangster genre and then crime and coming of age. Those are my main three genres right now to learn. Even if you're just a movie buff, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I highly recommend picking up John Truby's The Anatomy of Genres. It's an excellent book. So, I usually read 2 nonfiction books at a time and then a fictional book. This one, after hearing Jordan Peterson talk about it so much, I had to start reading this book. If Jordan Peterson says there's a book that's like the greatest of all time, I'm going to check it out, best believe. And that is The Brothers Karamazov, right here by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This book, you know what? I'm starting to see why people say it might be the best book ever written. This could quite possibly be the best book ever written, hands down. Now, I'm not just trying to I'm not trying to dick ride all the fools who say that. It's just this book is absolutely excellent. Just the ideological and philosophical conflict that takes place between these characters, and the way Jordan Peterson described it was like Fyodor Dostoevsky, he fleshes out these characters to the extent that they are so human and their ideas are so fully fleshed out, and he pits ideas against each other, and he basically fleshes out each idea uh, in every possible nuance into its most logical extreme, I suppose you could say. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it. He builds up each idea to the point to where each idea, each character who represents an ideology, they conflict to such a degree that the ideas are taken all the way to the point in which that the benefits, the pros and cons of each philosophical viewpoint that each character has is tested, and yeah, like each character, as we all do in life, has a philosophical viewpoint about whether it be like religion versus atheism, science versus rationalism. And basically, these beliefs clash between these characters. And that's what makes his books, that's one of the many things that makes his book so great. It's absolutely excellent. The bookmark just fell out. That pisses me off. The bookmark just fell out onto the table. I think I was on, yeah, 287. No, it's right there. Chapter 2 of section 2. I'm only on 287. I had to put that down because I had to prioritize art of focus, but I'm getting back into this freaking bookmark, bro. 287. Don't forget that, Justin. Okay. Um, so now that I'm done with art of focus, since I'm doing copywriting on the side because I need to transition out of this 9 to 5 job because I just don't have time to do this 9 to 5 thing, I want to jump into the whole digital writing ecosystem, copywriting, all that good shit. And all the people who exist within that landscape all recommend this bad boy right here. Influence by Robert B. Cialdini. This bad boy right here. That's such a great cover. That's such great cover art too, huh? Like, no, they say don't judge a book by its cover. That's like a half truth because you do have to make the cover dope looking. Like if you're creating a book, like look what Dan Code did for his book, bro. Come on. It's simple, but it's so dope. Like that is absolutely amazing right there. The Art of Focus by Dan Coe. Like just the black background with the white letters, aesthetically pleasing. Extremely. It's like very simple, but aesthetically pleasing, and it's eye catching too, you know? Anyway, yeah, so I got to get into this bad boy right here for copywriting and such. I got to start freelancing within the next year or so, hopefully sooner than that. But copywriting is an extremely lucrative gig, but it requires an understanding of human psychology and the ability to be persuasive. And a lot of people think that it sounds bad in itself, but I think it's about what you use it for. And it's like a lot of people say the book, The 48 Laws of Power, is immoral, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's just about, well, that book can teach you how to protect yourself in life, business, relationships, your dealings with other human beings, etc. But you're always trying to sell your ideas to people, whether you want to admit it or not. You're always trying to sell your worldview to people. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as you're not trying to steer people in a direction that is detrimental to their health or their existence or their family or their financial well-being. I think as long as you genuinely believe that the product you're selling or the service you're selling or offering or the subscription you want them to partake in is beneficial for them, you do have to figure out how to sell it to people. So, like, I'm focusing on email marketing right now. That's going to be what I want to tackle: long form blog writing and email marketing. So, I need to understand human psychology, how to be persuasive, and all that good stuff. So, anyway, yeah, again, one more time, because I get this book has been recommended to me a lot by like a lot of the digital writing bros on YouTube. I use that as a term of endearment too. I think is dope. Like all these digital writing bros are like jacked and tan and good looking and smart and wealthy. And like I'm like, bro, that's the squad right there. They're not sorry, that's a Udemy course playing right now. I accidentally pressed play. But yo, freaking all these fools they recommend influence. It's just so I'm like, all right. So Influence by Robert Cialdini, The Anatomy of Genres by John Truby. Mostly the gangster genre chapter though, because that's I'm like rereading and rereading that chapter right now. Because I really need to just absorb all that information and apply it to the script that I'm working on. It's a 1 hour drama pilot for a serialized drama. I know they say the era of peak TV is over, but we'll see about that. I certainly hope not. But anyway, look, and again, I would like to this book right here, The Brothers Karamazov. Check it out. It's a long read. It's a mission. Like this is a mission to get through. Okay, it's tough, and I know as busy and as distracted as we are in this era, it can be difficult to read, but it is absolutely essential to feed your mind. Like, given that life is finite and we'll never get to have all the experiences we want to, no matter how many we have, there's just certain things we'll never be able to get to do. Great literature and books give you an opportunity to venture into a world which you might not otherwise get to experience had you not read that book. So there's only so many places you can travel. Most of us don't have the budget or the time right now to travel to other countries. And even if we get to, at certain points in time, get to travel and we have more freedom to embark on adventures and all that good shit, you'll never get to experience everything. So at least the stuff you don't get to experience, whether it be time periods, cultures, whatever, at least experience it through a book and learn something from a book too. Like one thing I used to do is I used to read because it gave me social credibility. Like, ooh, look at me, I'm an intellectual who reads. And I wasn't getting anything from the books because I couldn't remember anything. So right now, the way I remember things better, or the what helps me remember more from a book, is that I apply it to a project I'm working on. Hence, The Anatomy of Genres by John Truby is helping me write this screenplay because I am absorbing all of the information from that particular chapter in that book. Fyodor Dostoevsky, The Brothers Karamazov, that book is just helping me become a better storyteller in general, I think, because it's helping me gain an understanding of how to fully flesh out a character and articulate their beliefs without too much exposition. Like, there's a scene or a chapter called The Grand Inquisitor that anyone who's heard of this book or read this book or has or who is well versed in the sphere of literature will have heard about this book and heard about that chapter. Like that argument that Alyosha, um, no, sorry, that Ivan the atheist lays out to Alyosha, who's like a who has faith, who's a Christian and whatnot. Like it's just amazing. It's an amazing book. I gotta finish it, but anyway, yeah. So what I do is I read 3 books at a time, each one serving a different purpose in my life, and that's how I go about it. So yeah, that's basically what I do. I don't know if that works for everybody, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There may be periods in my life where I'm so busy I can only read 1 book at a time. So I understand. I understand if it doesn't work for you, but that's what works for me. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Um, Hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good evening wherever you are. All right, peace.